All right. Welcome to another episode of We Just Talking, where we just be vibing, chilling, trying to have the most natural, authentic conversation. And I'm sitting over here with a very authentic person in my life, very talented person in my life. Um, Jade, Rebecca, please introduce yourself and let the world know who you are.
Hey guys, so yes, I go by Jade now. Yeah, I
Oh,
go by Jade.
switch up.
So yeah. And I'm a creative. I love dance. I love acting. I love music. So I just love being a creative person. So I love giving back to the people with that. That's something I love to do.
And that's something that you most certainly do so naturally. I love working with you and tapping into what you're doing and just watching you because you're also not just an artist, but like the genre and brand that you choose to be a positive artist and push out positive messages out there for women and all
Absolutely.
people and things
Yes.
like that. That's something that's big with you.
Yes.
So,
Thank you.
no,
I
no
love it.
problem.
I love it.
Thank you for what you do. I really appreciate artists that take it to that next level. And are very mindful of the messages that they're putting out there. So, and that kind of leads to our conversation today. Um, sometimes, sometimes making the right choice is hard. There are so many ways you can go about so many different things,
Absolutely.
but sometimes it ain't the wrong choice that's always hard.
Mhm.
I think the wrong choice is quite easy sometimes,
Mhm. Yeah. Talk about it.
especially like when you're younger
Mhm.
in your adolescent ages and you're just floating through the world and you're just doing whatever.
Mhm.
And you shouldn't be ashamed in that time period. You should never be ashamed of yourself, period. You should just learn.
Right.
And I feel like as I start to get older, that's when I start to really look at my choices more because
Mhm.
I care about where I'm going and what I'm doing and how I'm affecting myself. And most importantly, how I conduct myself affects other people.
Mhm.
So making that right choice is hard. Do you find that to be true?
Yes. Very true. It's something that I deal with on a regular, being a creative, and especially since we're talking about being an adolescent, making those decisions on if I should hang out with my friends or go be in the studio. Like
Oh,
really being disciplined in my craft. And so I've dealt with that, I would say, my whole life. Like, really,
mm.
well, I would say from the time I was a teenager to now, we're really making those right decisions. And it wasn't easy. And it still isn't easy. I'm still figuring it out. I still don't got it all together, but still really trying to do the right thing.
I think making that right decision that is hard is always going to be an ongoing thing because there's always going to be new choices that we have never faced.
Yes.
That's the tricky
Yes.
part.
That part.
The more you progress, the more that you grow as a human being,
Mhm.
the harder the choice becomes.
Yeah.
Um, because you don't have no kids, right?
No.
I don't
Mm-mm.
have no kids
I got a
either.
dog, but that's
See,
about
look,
it.
look, look, I got a
That's
cat.
about it. That's about it.
You met Sky earlier. I locked her in the room. She mad at me today.
Yeah.
See, that was a hard choice
Right.
because usually I let her walk all around and be a part of the set, but I need the focus for this conversation
Right.
because it's important for the world to get
To
this
hear
one.
it. Right.
Because I think we're all out here with the same type kind of like thought process. Like I want to do the right thing, but I don't want to disrupt or pay the consequences of doing
Mhm.
the right thing.
Mhm.
So one of my questions for you right now, for us to talk about is there a recurring right thing that is hard for you to choose from? Like, is there something that constantly happen within your life? You know, it could be work, it could be friendships, it could be anything. What is the hardest thing that is the right thing to do for you?
Who? Saying no. Saying no. And it's something that I am learning to deal with or learning to embrace that it's okay to say no. Um, yeah, I grew up. I don't know if you know this, but I grew up in church, and
Hmm.
so I was a praise dancer. I led the ministry, very big with that, and it's made me who I am today, the leader
Hmm.
I am today. Yes, but at the same time, that saying no was the part that I had to know when it was time for me to let things go and let
Uh,
people know what it is, because sometimes we can become a people pleaser, and
yeah.
that's what and I was trained to say yes all the time because it's the right thing to do. But it's okay to say no, and it's okay to make sure I'm good respectfully, like
Respectfully.
respectfully say no. But that's something that I'm learning, that it's okay to say no, and that's
Yeah.
you gotta do what's best for you at the end of the day. So I think that's one of the things that I'm learning, especially being an adult now, and just navigating that it's okay. You don't always have to please everybody, and not everybody. You can't make everybody happy, and
You come
that's
first.
I come first, and that's
You
what I'm
come
learning.
first.
That's what I'm
I know
learning.
this is cliche to say, but like, if you're not good, then no one's good.
Hmm.
And we live in a world where people don't want to admit it, but we're all using each other. Um, like everybody wants something. If it's like something small, I make this little joke from the Peaky Blinders. You watch that show at all?
Mm-mm, no,
It's like this Irish mob show, and there was this line where it's like this guy says, "Grace, are you a whore?" She says, "No," and he says, "Yes, you are." She's like, "No, I'm not," and he's like, "Everyone gives a part of themselves to someone,
mm-hmm.
and that's what givers do. We give, give, give." And a lot of people don't notice that they're just takers.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
we fall we fall victim to those takers, and until you wake up and say no, you're going to fall down a deep pattern of just losing yourself. And that's what I kind of like ran into a wall with in my life. Like my whole life has kind of like been service, like doing for other people, sacrificing myself. And I'm grateful that I've been that person because it's given me nothing but I don't look at myself as like I need to always do for me. I don't feel like a selfish person in this world. So it kind of make it easy when you finally get the strength to be like, no.
Mm-hmm.
I do struggle with the same thing. Like it's the reaction that you get from people that are not used to that no, or not used to hearing no from people. I can always tell when someone's not used to hearing no from people. And I'm like, no. I'm thinking about myself. I do a lot. Like I do a lot of like
You
business
do.
stuff.
You do.
It's crazy, through our text messages, the
Yeah.
lack of me texting and getting
You
back.
busy.
And I appreciate people like you that understand. And I'm not mad at the people who don't understand, but because that's where I'm at now. So at first, that hard choice was living with. Damn, I just said no to them, and then watching them get so sad that I don't have their back right now, or I can't do that. And then relationships got weird.
That part. Ooh. Ooh, I could
Rela-
tell you about some relationships. Ooh.
relationships got weird.
Right.
But you know what? I'm happy that happened because
Right.
whenever you make that right choice for yourself,
Mm-hmm.
nobody should start treating you different.
Yeah.
Nobody should come at you sideways
Mm-hmm.
and start reacting in all
Mm-hmm.
crazy different ways. Like I've seen all different stuff,
Mm-hmm.
like lack of communication between people, subs on social media, ghosting, all of that. I've
Right.
experienced it all at this point, and what it did for me though, like going through all of that, it just made me stronger when it came to having to deal with that weird stuff.
Right.
Um, so that leads to my next question. Next point. How do you deal with making the right choice and being that we're so influenced by the world?
Yeah.
How do you go about dealing with your outside influences when it comes to choice making?
This may be cliche, but
Okay.
it's something that I live by all the time, and that is embracing my uniqueness.
Mm.
And when I do that, everything falls into place.
Mhm.
The moment that I care about what other people have to say or other influences, that's when I feel all over the place because I'm letting somebody else dictate what they think I should be doing or what they think is right.
Yeah.
And those moments where I really embrace my authenticity, that's when I'm able to really figure out if that's the right thing. Because so
Wow.
many people can talk and tell you what they think that you should be doing, and it's like you really gotta just embrace you. Like, what is your
Yeah.
purpose? What is the thing that makes you feel good at night? Those things is what really matters for me.
Mm. Uh, Straight up, I felt that to the max when you said embrace your uniqueness. Because when you are so different from so many people, like in my realm, like I don't have too many people that work for themselves in my world all the time. Now I kind of do. Now I'm starting to surround myself around more business entrepreneurs, more business artists that kind of like do this like how I do it a little bit. But even when I'm in their realms, like I got one homie that does real estate. I got other people that do other stuff. I have a lot of realtors in my life. I didn't want to just say real estate, real estate, real estate, but that's a popping area to get your bag. But I have so many people that don't understand what it's like to be in my shoes.
Yeah.
I got so many people that want to request me to do something for them and
Mhm.
don't understand what it takes, the mental capacity to
Mhm.
be me,
Yep.
to do what I do.
Yep.
And even like putting yourself out there in the universe like as a content creator and stuff. People don't know how challenging that is for you. So people like to make comments of what you should be doing. They like to comment on your consistency to tell you that you should do this, you should do
Yep.
that. And I'm just like, at first I was listening. At first I was just like, okay, maybe you might be right. And I tried that. And I found myself hitting a wall. I found myself not doing enough because I'm like, I'm unhappy with this. This is not what I really want to do.
Mhm.
And when I finally accepted that, like coming into my space now, and I was like, no one can make any choices for me. The biggest one that I don't want to hear in my realm is like, don't tell me that I'm doing too much.
Yeah.
In order to be who you want to be, you have to grind your ass off.
Yeah.
So don't tell me to slow down. And sometimes making the right choice for you when it comes to like your realm, it looks crazy to everyone else. How do you
Yeah.
deal with that?
It's hard, especially as a creative, and it's not many people that I know that are creative as well. So people that aren't creative, they want you to do the American way.
Mm,
Go to college, get a degree, which is nothing wrong with.
hmm.
Education is important, but everybody's journey is not that journey. So it's just a lot of times they just want you to do what they did, and it's like, I'm different. Like, I'm me. Like, don't put your experiences and your journeys on me.
Right,
And I think it's just people that aren't creative, you know, they don't we never understand what it's like to be a creative person.
right.
And instead of giving advice to somebody or calling yourself giving advice to somebody that is in a creative realm, kind of put yourself in their shoes before, you give them all this
Yeah. And then kind of
insight of what they
like,
should be doing.
just kind of like accept that sometimes you just won't understand or ever be able to fit in their
Yeah,
shoes.
exactly.
I think that is the best thing that you can do sometimes,
Yeah,
even if I'm making a wrong decision. Sometimes the only way to figure it out is for you to just do it.
yeah,
Because like number one, like all great ideas seem impossible at first until you actually do it.
yeah,
All things that you do is going to tire you out. There's no such thing as like doing something great and not doing an extreme amount of work to get it done.
yeah.
Like even if you got a team, you're still going to have to delegate
Mhm.
and like, okay, I got to manage this and tell this person that. And sometimes that could seem a lot for someone. It's just no way to like
Mhm.
put yourself in these type of shoes, even for
Yeah,
yourself.
yeah,
Even being there for yourself,
yeah.
you don't know. Um, okay. Switching gears from kind of like the work stuff and switching gears to a more personal level. Why do you think people kind of like go long terms without making the right choice and getting stuck in the wrong choices?
Sometimes the people they have around them.
Mm.
Sometimes the people you have around you can definitely impact you to do certain things. I mean, yeah, if you're around people that are like business oriented, where you going, where you trying to go, let's say it like that. People that are trying to go where you trying to go, it's like, it's not easier to get there, but if you got like-minded people around you, you want to go somewhere. But if you're the only person that's trying to go somewhere and everybody else is kind of at a different place,
Yeah.
it's I think those are the moments where I feel like that.
So it's kind of like coming back to the last question a little bit. Your influences. We're so heavily influenced by the world. And I don't
Yeah.
think I gave like a concrete way that I like get through that, like ignoring and blocking out things. But like you really got to undownload stuff from other people.
Yeah.
And always remember to kind of like take in information that's best for you and take out the bones that like don't apply to
Mhm.
your anatomy of like how you go down with things, because like everything that someone else do won't always apply to your life.
Right.
And what I've noticed from like just being around people in general is that people are very consumed in their own world.
Yeah.
That's kind of like been my biggest realization about how people make their choices these days, is that people are very consumed in their own world. It's kind of sad because
Mhm.
like sometimes I find myself kind of like being around people and I'm like, damn, you have so many expectations on other people
Yeah.
that if somebody act out of those expectations, if somebody is not your norm, shh, you're judging them.
Mhm.
You're telling people how they should be. And that's wrong. You should always let people be them,
Yeah.
even if it seems crazy to let them be them.
Yeah.
If those people are acting out of term and their choice making is too difficult for you to withstand after having a conversation with them and giving them some advice, you should back away if it's not healthy for you.
Right.
But we should never judge anyone, in my opinion.
At all. Absolutely. Absolutely. Because like I said, everybody's journey is their journey. So it's like, who are we to judge,
Yeah.
But, if that's not your cup of tea, being honest and being honest with the person. I just don't like when people just cut somebody off just out of nowhere. Like, just have conversations. And if, it's okay to go your separate ways. I think that's another thing. Like, it's okay people are in your life for a reason and a season, and it's okay to go your separate ways. And who knows, God may have it where you guys come back together.
Come
Like, you
on.
never know. But it's okay for relationships to, kind of move forward. And you might find your way back to each other, but don't ever. I don't like when people do it in a way where it's like judgmental to another person. I think
Hmm.
it should be, have a conversation, let them know how you feel about the situation, and if it happens, it happens. But I just feel like people should go out on good terms, like,
I believe
and
so
just
too.
having those conversations are everything to me.
Yeah. Is that one of those really hard choices for people to go out on good
Oh
terms?
yeah.
For people to even separate from people, period.
It's I mean, it's easy to just not say anything,
Uh huh.
or
Oh,
it's those conversations are difficult. It's not going to be easy for sure. But
I also didn't share my most difficult thing because I'm just so loving the flow of our conversation. Um, one of my difficult things used to be, because it's no longer that, but in my last chapter, my most difficult thing was telling people the truth about themselves. Because I'm not a judgmental person and because I don't like to be forceful with my information that I'm seeing, sometimes I withheld certain things back out of fear
hmm
that I would lose that person.
me too. Me too. I don't know if that's the Aquarius in us.
It's the Aquarius in us.
Yeah, it's the Aquarius in
It's the
us for
Aquarius.
sure.
Because, like, I know it's cliche I think every human is an empath in their own way. I think we all can, like, vibe off of each other because I have a theory that all things are connected and all people are connected and we're all mirrors to each other. But,
Yeah.
one of my friends, one of my greatest friends in the world, Adam, he said that if you do not tell someone about themselves and help them out with an issue, truly, if you just walk by and just let them just be and you continue to be around them, you are holding their hand and you are walking into the fire with them.
Mm,
That changed my life.
wow.
It changed my life completely. And my struggle was a lot of the people, going back to your point of it's really about the people that you're around. A lot of the people did not respect what I had to say to them.
Mm.
And I didn't recognize this until I wasn't around them. But when I said things to them, I would get responses like, I'm not going to listen to no one. I'm not going to do this, that, and the third. And I didn't take heed of that because I just wasn't recognizing. But recognizing certain cues and stuff like that, I catch on to certain mischief later. But when I finally get it, when I finally recognize that, I was like, oh, you didn't respect me. Because when you have a friend, you value what they say.
Yeah, absolutely.
You value the choice making that they make in their life. One
Hmm.
thing, kudos to my guy circle because we're growing the fuck up. Um, I'm really proud of my guy circle is because we're all growing and we're all becoming better men. And I highlight the guy circle because I don't think like I'm not going to speak for every guy circle, but every guy circle is not healthy with our choices, especially when it comes to dealing with women. But in my guy circle, we have all been like really hell bent on we want relationships. We want to stop being out here, quote unquote, in the streets and stuff like that. Like, we want seriousness. And the only way you get that is really being serious with yourself, number one,
Hmm.
but then having the right influences around you to make those right choices. So, having those meetings with your friends and really having those hard talks are very important.
Hmm.
And that's just a good comparison to like, okay, I wasn't getting respect here, but then, that's the beautiful thing about going through bad things.
Hmm.
The good things come later because now you recognize different things that you will never accept again.
Yep.
And one of the things that I will never tolerate is disrespect. I've always been big on that. And I get nothing but respect from all of the men and women that is in my life right now.
Hmm.
And the moment that changed, I know what to do now. So that will not be a hard choice that I have to make ever again.
Hmm.
You can't fear telling the truth to people. It's very hard to tell.
It's so hard. It's so hard. But you got to do it because people will walk all over you. And
Hmm.
I've been walked all over so many times. When I got a certain age, I was like, you know what? I got to start speaking up for myself, because nice people, what's that saying? Nice people finish last.
It's true.
I learned that the hard way.
This
Like,
year, last year,
I'm a sweetheart. I am. But, I just at the same time, well, us Aquarius, you cross us too many times. We don't forget that. So it's a lot of things. I mean, I don't forget it, but I forgive for sure. I forgive, but I don't forget those things, and
no facts.
it's made me who I am right now, to where it's okay to be honest.
Whenever you're dealing with a nice person, and this is a big choice because I struggle with this too, is when to like this is I'm a, and I'm we're getting to the end of the podcast, but like I'm gonna say this: there's right and there's wrong.
Hmm.
There's right and there's wrong. Choosing from right and wrong is also difficult too sometimes. So what I like to say is don't focus on the right and don't focus on the wrong. Focus on what's real to you. Because if you focus on what's real to you, you might not be making the best choice for the sake of what may be protecting the peace. You're going to make a right decision that is going to better the situation.
Hmm.
Because even if you lose somebody within a situation, sometimes that's just a necessary thing.
That's the hard part.
It's the hard part
That's the hard
because
part.
you lose somebody that you have built so much with.
Yeah.
You might be dating and you're feeling someone, and then that's just not it.
Yeah.
And you know what? I'm glad that we're at this point. The consequences of not making the right decision only builds up for a negative situation later.
Yeah.
Like that's all you're doing. You're prolonging the inevitable.
Hmm.
So you matter as well. Just do things right now. Keep it a bean when you could catch it early instead of letting something go on and on and on. And
Yeah.
I think like a lot of the people that I'm around are getting better with that. But I find myself like in situations where I tell people, please don't do this social norm thing where you don't tell me the truth because you're afraid of what I'm going to do when it comes to reacting to things. I'm not that person.
Yeah.
I know like society, like a lot of people can't take the truth, but I can. I might react to it like a normal person, but the one thing that I will never do is cut a good friend off for telling me the truth. I might be mad at first because I do things like this.
Yeah, you're
Why you
human.
why you take so long to tell me that shit?
Right.
Why didn't you tell me earlier that I
Right.
was wilding?
Right.
Because sometimes people wait too long for me to tell me
Yeah.
that I was tripping,
Yeah.
that I wasn't, like tell me the truth.
Yeah.
We were talking earlier about people don't know what's right for you. Your friends kind of see a different version of you too, that's outside of you that you can't see. So you do need to hear those opinions, but remember to keep the bones
Mhm.
that you need and toss out the other ones that you don't.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. Uh, is there anything else that you would like to share around this topic when it comes to the right and wrong choices?
I would say don't let social media make I have a influence as well. Like you have a good influence, use it to for whatever you do, but don't I think when we compare,
Yeah,
that's when I feel like it has like the I don't know, that's where it can really hurt us
I agree with you.
with that influence really just comparing and what you see on social media, comparing yourself to maybe some of these celebrities or some of these people like I've done it. I've definitely am somebody that has done it. So I would say that's a choice that I I'm I think we all have to do better in with not being so consumed with social media.
Yeah.
People only show you what they want you to see.
Another cliche thing is comparison is the thief of joy.
Mm,
What people got to remember is that comparison is the thief to joy. I know that's cliche to say, but it's really truth. And the older that I get, I start to recognize that a lot of the things that we do, we're comparing ourselves. So I think that's a really good point to make.
yeah.
Is social media is constantly dictating like a lot of our decisions, and we're all different humans with different situations.
Absolutely.
It's no way that this one post that is going viral or whatever the case may be applies to everyone life the same.
Yeah.
It's no way that that person actions or the way they got to fame will work for you the same.
Yeah.
And people find out the hard way. People go on and start acting a certain type of way, and then you just lose everything because you couldn't wake up to the fact that like that wasn't the right decision for me.
Yeah.
Right and wrong.
Yeah. Yeah.
We sell our souls a lot, just trying to get on and trying to
Yeah.
make things right.
Some of the stuff people do to be in this industry is sometimes sad, and I just feel like I don't know, I just feel like you shouldn't lose that humility. Like you gotta stand for something,
Yeah,
you don't can't be so easy and brainwashed by what you seeing in this media. So
absolutely.
I think that's a decision that I feel like that's definitely a right decision. I just feel like people gotta make. Don't
No,
settle for anything.
no, absolutely. Never settle for anything. Take your time and evaluate the choices that you make. And like the one thing that I've learned with choice making is that you can always take a pause and process things before making a choice. But make sure that you sit with yourself.
Yeah.
Make sure that you take a break and you just sit with yourself to see like what am I actually doing in this thing that we call life.
Yeah. The mental health check days are needed.
Mhm.
I didn't realize that because sometimes you work, 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 and you forget about yourself.
Come on.
But them days are so important. Like when I have those days for me, just to sit and just think and really take care of myself, whether it's a self care day, whatever it is, I just feel so much better, and I have more of a idea of what I want to do, how I want to do it. But you gotta take them those days, them me days for sure.
Last thing that I will share with choice making is it's not that deep. I really am strong to like you never know what's right or wrong.
Mhm.
You just gotta follow your instincts with certain things, and you really gotta listen to what your heart is feeling. We can feel when we're making the wrong decision, and we feel like when we're making the right decision. And sometimes the right decision can make you feel just as bad as the wrong decision.
Facts.
but you really just got to sit with yourself and say, hey, let me process this. Let me woosah. Let me meditate. Hand me that torch, Troy. We gonna light some sage at the end of this. Sometimes you gotta sit and do this, y'all. Sometimes you gotta take some sage, light that bad boy up, sit with yourself, get rid of all of the negative energy, and then make your choice afterwards.
Yep.
Meditate on your decisions and think about the things that you're doing. You can't always rush things based on other people's request of what they want from you.
Mm-hmm.
That's not going to work out for you
Yep.
because now you rush the decision and now you're going to be like, later on, you're going to be like, damn, I shouldn't have did that. But one of the most beautiful things in life is never too late to change your mind. Never.
Never too late. Never.
Never too late to change your mind. Jade,
Never.
this was one of, I know shouldn't say this on every podcast, but the more that I podcast with people, each one becomes a different favorite for me. And this one was a favorite for me because you naturally talked about things that I didn't know like you was just going to bring up or things I wasn't expecting within this topic, but you hit the nail on certain things that I got to do better and I think a lot of us got to do better. And I feel like we touched upon a lot of important things when it comes to making the right hard choice. So, thank you for being on this podcast with me.
Thank you for having me.
It
I'm so happy
is
to be here.
it's my honor, and you will be back. That is a most guarantee because you already know we got other
Hey.
things that's in the works that we're up to and that we're doing.
Period.
So, let's keep let's be about our word and keep making the right hard choice without fear. Because like I was saying, it's not that serious.
It's not.
It's not.
It's not.
You make a choice, you live with it, you learn from the lesson, and then you keep going.
Keep going. That part.
Hmm.
I have a song named "Keep Going." That's my theme
Oh,
song.
I think I might have to play it at the end of this song. I mean,
Oh.
at the end, at the end of this song, at the end of this podcast, we're gonna play that song.
Hey.
Wait, how it go?
It goes. Keep going, going, going. Keep going. You
Ooh,
keep going. Keep pushing. You on a mission.
ooh,
Yeah. Yeah, I was really inspired to write it during the pandemic, and that's what I did.
we
And it
needed
was
that
just
during that
really
time.
to inspire people. So I hope it
Yeah.
sticks with somebody. For
Yes.
sure.
Well, that's the type of person that you are,
Thank you.
and like I like to end these podcasts with, um, once again, this is a podcast that is about giving inspiration to people, to give a different perspective to people. You might not always agree with everything that you hear on here because everybody has different perspectives that don't match you. But, what I said earlier about like mixing and the bones that you need and taking out the bones that you don't. That's how you should apply yourself to this podcast
Yeah.
when you're watching it. Watch it with an open mind. And I thank you for those who have already grasped that concept with us. And I thank you for those who are joining in now. Please go look at the other episodes that we have. We're growing and we're learning how to do this thing. So I appreciate everybody that is with me on this journey of figuring it out because that's what life is. I do so many other things, so it's hard for me to be consistent, but I'm getting there, y'all, and I'm loving and loving these podcasts more. Once again, thank you for being on, and thank y'all for watching another episode of We Just Talking. Until next time, sage up, y'all.